Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Well, it seems the Biden campaign has called Fox News and John Roberts on Fox News blatant liars. Now, I find that interesting, as we're going to see in this article, concerning the $35 monthly cap for insulin for seniors. Now, we all know that baby boomers, myself included, I'm on the tail end of the baby boomers. I was born in 56. Are a very large voting bloc. And for no reason I can't figure out, the baby boomers, pretty high percent, vote for Democrats, in this case Biden. So they called John Roberts a liar, saying it was us that instituted the $35 cap on insulin. That's one of their main talking points you see in every one of their press releases. Biden administration, $35 cap for seniors, helping them. Many had need the insulin to live, and blah, 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 blah. And Trump didn't do it, and we did, and did it. Well, it seems that's not really accurate. Now, I've had my criticism of Fox News lately, especially after the taking off the air of Tucker Carlson and them settling their multi-million-dollar damages suit with a voting machine company. So they've been kind of milk toast. Well, it seems that John Roberts kind of grew his set a little bit here, and after being called a blatant liar, this is his response. It's worth listening to. Check it out. The Biden campaign recently accused John Roberts of lying about a Trump-era policy that Biden is trying to take credit for, and they are now living to regret it. Roberts took to the airways on Wednesday and disproved the Biden campaign accusation and brought all the receipts to bring back up his argument. You can tell by the way Roberts addresses that he is not cool with what Biden's people tried to do here. Yep. The Biden-Harris headquarters, which is the official arm of the Biden campaign, found itself facing pushback after it claimed Fox's John Roberts had told a blatant lie regarding Trump and insulin prices. Here's what the post, which still hasn't been deleted or corrected, looked like. Of course they wouldn't delete it, just because it's not true. Who cares about that? The problem, their fact check is factually untrue, and Roberts wasn't willing to take the accusation lying down. This is what they said. Yesterday, coming out of a segment in which the $35 insulin copay under the Inflation Reduction Act, boy, there's an oxymoron, was mentioned, I remarked that I recalled back in 2020, the Centers for Medicare and Medicare Services stated that President Trump had a plan. Now let's just listen to this short video, and then there's one after this.
On that insulin thing, I seem to remember that back in May of 2020, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid said that President Trump had signed an executive order to cap the price of insulin for Medicare recipients at $35. Now, maybe I'm misremembering that, but I think it kind of already happened.
The messaging is interesting.
Now, and here is the absolutely brutal response from Roberts. You know, I wouldn't say brutal. When you call somebody out for lying, in this case, when they call him a liar, and then you bring what they call the receipts and proof that they're lying, I wouldn't call that, hitting back hard. Fox News host John Roberts hits back at the Biden campaign. Let's just take a look at what he said.
Now we want to take a moment here on the program to talk to you about this. Yesterday, coming out of a segment in which the $35 insulin copay under the Inflation Reduction Act was mentioned, I remarked that I recalled that back in May of 2020, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services had issued a press release that stated President Trump had a plan to lower insulin copays to $35. The Biden campaign's rapid response issued a post on X saying the following, quote, Fox host tries to claim Trump, not President Biden, capped insulin at $35 a month. Fact check. This is a blatant lie. But there are receipts to dispute the Biden campaign's claim about what I said. First, the press release from May 26th of 2020, which read, President Trump announces lower out-of-pocket insulin costs for Medicare seniors. across the nation participating in enhanced Part D prescription drug plans will provide Medicare beneficiaries access to a broad set of insulins at a maximum $35 copay for a month's supply from the beginning of the year through Part D coverage gap. At the White House that same day, there was a Rose Garden event to announce the program. CEOs from participating drug companies were in attendance, as was the CEO of the American Diabetes Association, Tracy Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, this is the president of the American Diabetes Association. Unfortunately, and I'm sure they're probably a leftist group, but even still, she came, you see the date there, May 26th of 2020, talking about how great this cap is. And there you see John Roberts sitting there right in the audience. Let's listen. Is she lying too?
President, thank you, Administrator Verma, for making this afternoon one that we can focus on the 34 million Americans like myself who's living with diabetes, 7 million of which need insulin to live. Today, together, we are helping millions of seniors access insulin affordably. This is a very big deal.
I was in the Rose Garden that.
This is a very big deal, she said. This is the head of the American Diabetes Association. I can't put it in cleaner English. It's a big deal. Now, privately, she'd probably say it's a big effing deal, but you are in public. Let's listen on.
Afternoon, as were many other news organizations. Here's what the Washington Post wrote about the plan. Quote, the administration has brokered an agreement between insulin manufacturers and some Medicare prescription drug plans that would lower costs for some seniors beginning in 2021 by capping copays at $35 for a monthly supply. That $35 copay cap was available to seniors under the Medicare Part D Senior Savings Model. It was a program in which drug companies would voluntarily keep copays for insulin affordable. Throughout the fall of 2020, Medicare enrolled seniors in the plan, according to CMS.
Now, see the catch here, or the difference, I should say. The administration, in this case, the Trump administration, brokered a deal. They didn't bang them over the head or they didn't threaten them. They did what Trump does. He makes deals. And his administration himself made a deal with the drug companies to provide insulin cheaper. And it would cost $35 a month under the Medicare D. Now, great. They volunteered. Trump negotiated with them. Seniors did very well, helped a lot of people, millions actually. So look, they didn't beat him over the head, like I said, with legal stuff or laws or executive orders. They sat down and they reasoned like people do. Let's listen on.
Documents, the program was in place for 3 years. Quote, this voluntary model began on January 1st, 2021 and concluded on December 31st, 2023. In May of 2023, the RAND Corporation issued an evaluation of the senior savings model, $35 copay program, which said in part, quote, the model test has generated a robust response from eligible POs, parent organizations, with even greater participation in the second year of implementation.
Greater participation in the second year of implementation. So it was successful.
Most participating plans offered plan-selected model insulins at the maximum $35 per month copayment. While the $35 copay was already available to seniors who chose to enroll in the senior savings model, President Biden made it his, quote, signature issue to convert the voluntary program into a mandatory program.
Typical left progressive. It's working well as a volunteer program. So let's exercise our authority over these evil corporations. They don't hate all drug pharmaceutical companies. And I can't go into detail because this website won't allow it. But let's just make it mandatory. Well, if somebody was eligible for it and needed to save the money, there's a lot of people that have substantial retirements and live very well and they're somewhat rich. Maybe they said, well, it's not really worth it to me. I'm not going to use up money that I can't get much benefit from. So only the ones that are having trouble affording their insulin applied. What the hell is wrong with that? But now it's mandatory. We're going to beat you over the head because we're Washington and we know better than you, and we're looking out for the people.
The Inflation Reduction Act caps cost sharing for each insulin product covered under a Medicare prescription drug plan. We invited a representative from the Biden campaign to come on the program with us to discuss the issue, but thus far, they have made no one available.
Yep, they have made no one available. Imagine if all the media was as vigilant about making sure people know the truth. Like I said, I've got some criticism of Fox since, we'll say the last couple of years. This is basically just before Biden was sworn in. And they've done some things. I think their tarnish is a little off, but this is an excellent point. They blatantly lie. They constantly lie. Why? I don't know. Well, I do know why. I shouldn't say that. Because they're never going to be called out on it. And even when they are called out, like here, the mainstream media will not show it. So the average American doesn't see it. So it goes. Same thing with the Hunter Biden laptop. Many in the administration, many talking heads, and all kinds of other people said, you know what? It doesn't exist. It's a farce. It's a con. Well, in the Hunter Biden trial, they showed the laptop, wait for it, as evidence. And there's things in the laptop that the prosecution, in this case the federal, I believe, used to help convict Hunter Biden on a gun charge. So it does exist. I've seen Christopher Wray multiple times in front of congressional hearings asking if it's real, and he can't say if it's real. Of course it's real. They took it out of evidence, and they brought it to the trial to try to prosecute Hunter Biden. You going to hear that in the mainstream media? Nope. You're going to hear about the fact that Biden lied. So instead of making it voluntary, instead of making the drug companies volunteer to help seniors, Biden, on the other hand, said from the Inflation Reduction Act, which is an incredible oxymoron, more emphasis on the moron, we're going to make you do it for all insulin products. It's just incredible to me. Biden knows, and his people know. I shouldn't say Biden because he's not all there. His people know that baby boomers, such as myself, I'm on the young end of the baby boomer age, vote Democrat in very high percentages still because they believe the Democrat Party they voted for 30, 40, 50 years ago is the same Democrat Party that exists today. And that's not true. The Democrat Party has changed dramatically for the worse. I used to be a local elected official as a Democrat in the early 2000s. I consider myself in some ways, I call it a John Kennedy Democrat. Now, if you say the things that Kennedy or any of the Democrats said, even Bill Clinton said, is now considered right wing and MAGA and blah, 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 blah. Clinton about immigration, Clinton about drug prices. We can go through the list. Even Obama said some things when he was a senator that would be considered right wing. It's insane. So John Roberts called it on me. So I got to give credit where credit is due. If I'm going to be critical of things they do, or should say mostly don't do or say, I have to give them kudos for this. Response from the Biden campaign? Nothing. Let me put it another way. When Fox News got a hold of the Biden administration and campaign for a comment or bring somebody on to explain, Fox News received this. And there you have it. Smoke and mirrors. Seniors, baby boomers, people from my generation. Wake up. Wake up. I know our time isn't as long on this earth as the majority of Americans, but we still have great influence. So take this for what it's worth and vote accordingly. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.